Hello, I'm Richie Hunley, and I'm here with Teresa Fugate, a college reading instructor at Lindsey Wilson College. Ms. Fugate is being featured this week as part of our First Generation Friday feature. Ms. Fugate, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Um, I have been at Lindsay for 10 years teaching college reading. I've taught college study skills and intro to college writing. Before that, I taught at several community colleges in Kentucky. I taught for Somerset Community College, Whitesburg Community College, and then I taught at Kentucky Wesleyan College in Owensboro before I made it to Lindsay.
So, where did you attend college, and what
I,
degree did you attain?
I attended Berea College at Berea, Kentucky, and I have a BA in elementary education.
So, when you were in school, did you participate in any clubs or activities or extracurricular activities like that?
Not really. At Berea, everybody had to work at least 10 hours a week. So, with going to classes and studying and then working, I didn't have much time. But I did go to basketball games and I went to dances and things like that. I tried to get involved socially that way.
So, think back to your first year in college. Tell me what that was like.
Well, my first year in college at Berea, my mother and dad took me to Berea and pretty much says, "Here you go." And so I didn't get to go home until Thanksgiving, and for me, that really was my first time away from home. So I had a lot of adjusting to do and making new friends. It was kind of unusual for me.
So, think about that year and the whole time you were in college, and talk about what the biggest challenge was for you to succeed in college.
I guess for me, my mindset, I wasn't really aware what college was going to be like. And so when I got there and I had freedom, that I got to go to classes not every hour, every day, and that was kind of unusual. I was used to having a planned schedule, and then I started dating a guy that I met my second year or my second week at school, and that was kind of different. And then some of my classes were hard, and I wasn't always the best student. In fact, I can remember as a freshman, I failed psychology because I had to stay in the dorm every day and watch one of my soap operas, Days of Our Lives. So that was more important to me at that time than going to class. So, of course, I got an F in psychology and had to repeat it. So, and I also was not a very good math student. So, when I went to Berea, I had to take a developmental math class. So, that was okay. I made it through that math, and I made it through the math that I had to take. So, I kind of learned from my experiences.
What did it mean to you to be a first generation college student?
Well, for me, as I was growing up, college was never even talked about. I wasn't even aware much about college. My mother and my dad both had eighth grade educations, and when I got in high school, they really couldn't help me very much. They tried, but my friends helped me a lot. When I was a junior, a guidance counselor called me into her office and started talking to me about going to college. And I thought, me at college, I don't know whether I want to go to college. But she said, "I think I have a place that will accept you, and why don't we work and fill out an application?" So she helped me fill out the application, and I had to write an essay. So I wrote an essay, and she helped me look over that and make changes, and then we sent it in, and I suppose she paid the fee. I never even knew there was a fee. And so when I got my acceptance letter from Berea and I told my mother and my dad, it was just like, "You're going to college." My brothers and sisters, I have two brothers and two sisters, they were basically just glad to get out of high school. And so I can't say that college was a dream of mine. And when I went to college, I didn't even know what I was going to major in. I had an idea. My mother kept saying, "You need to major in nursing. You'll always get a job in nursing." So I signed up for nursing and took a couple of classes, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to do this. I don't like it. And then I started teaching, and I remember that when I was a child, I would sit at the table and put my dolls and animals around me, and we played school with the chalkboard. So I started education courses and fell in love with it, and then I knew that's what I wanted to do, was to be an elementary teacher.
So were your parents and other family supportive of you going to college?
Oh yeah, they were very proud for me to go. And when I would come home, I can remember going to the grocery and other places with my mom, and we'd be standing at the cash register, and my mom would always bring up that this was her daughter, who was in college at Berea and was going to be a teacher. So that really meant a lot to my mother.
What factors do you think ultimately led you to succeed and graduate with your degree?
I think that once I settled down and really decided that I wanted, or what I wanted to do with my life, then I decided that I was going to work hard and make that happen, no matter what it took. If I had to take courses again, I have to admit there were a lot of classes that were hard, and I cried and cried as I'd work on papers or whatever, but I was just determined, and with that determination, then I was able to get my degree, and then I went on and got my master's degree, and taught elementary school, and decided that wasn't where I wanted to be. That wasn't where God was leading me, and a job became available at a community college in Whitesburg, and I went to the college, and when I walked in, 30 minutes before I'd come in, somebody quit. So God opened that door for me to start teaching, and I started teaching education classes. And from the education classes, there came an opening to start teaching reading and writing and even math. And so I taught all those, and I've been teaching now for, well, I guess about 20 years in the reading program and the writing program.
And so you obviously went on to get your master's degree. What prompted that decision?
Well, at the time, as I got my teacher certification, it was a requirement that in 10 years you had to have your master's degree or you wouldn't be able to teach. So at the time that I went to work on my master's degree, I was married to that boy I met 2 weeks after I got to Berea. We had 2 children, so here I was teaching full-time, had 2 children. I was a minister's wife doing a lot of things at church, and so I was going to class on Monday nights, and at the time I didn't drive. I didn't know how to drive, so my husband was driving me back and forth to school with these 2 kids, and then I finished up in the summer, and at that time I was pregnant with my 3rd child. So I decided it, and I wanted it bad enough, and I made it happen.
So the last question I want to ask you is my favorite question to ask. And that is, if you could only offer one piece of advice to other first-generation college students, what would that be?
Never give up. You always have people that say that you can't do something or you'll never make it. But my philosophy is, look at me. I didn't know what college was, had no idea that I was going to go. But after I got to college and got my head on straight, then I worked at it. And so my advice to anyone watching is, if you want it bad enough, if you have to go to tutoring, if you have to borrow money, if you ask for help, whatever it takes, don't let people say you can't do it. And if you need somebody to talk to or a good person to encourage you, come see me.
Thank you so much for your time, Mrs. Fugate, and join us every Friday for First Generation Friday.